Hi, and welcome back to All Baking Bootcamp. I'm your host, nutritionist Mia Rigden, and today we are making chocolate fudge olive oil brownies. These brownies are gluten-free, dairy-free, and we're using olive oil as our fat instead of butter like you'd find in a classic brownie recipe. I love using olive oil in this recipe because it adds a little bit of nuttiness and richness and a ton of nutrition. Olive oil is super anti-inflammatory. It's got healthy omega-9 fatty acids, tons of antioxidants and polyphenols. And when you use a good quality olive oil, you can heat that over 400 degrees. You can't really taste the olive oil, but it does give like a sophistication, I believe, to the brownies and a little bit of extra nuttiness. So the first step is we're actually going to melt 1 cup of our chocolate chips. The recipe calls for 2 cups. So the first cup we're gonna be melting with our olive oil. You could always use a microwave to melt your fat with your chocolates, but I don't wanna microwave this because I don't wanna lose any of the nutrients in the olive oil. So I've heated up a pan with a little bit of water in here, and I'm gonna put our chocolate chips on top and pour our olive oil in and let the water lightly simmer until the chocolate and olive oil have melted together. Okay, so as you can see, the chocolate is starting to melt. I wish you could smell it because chocolate and olive oil is an excellent combination. It just smells so good. This is looking really nice and smooth, as you can see. If you pour the chocolate olive oil mixture in when it's too hot, it'll cook the eggs. So we really wanna make sure to cool this for at least 5 minutes. So we're gonna prep the dry and wet ingredients while we wait for our chocolate to cool, and then we can pour it into the eggs. The dry ingredients in this recipe are simple. We've got almond flour, unsweetened baking cocoa. You don't want to use cacao powder because it will get bitter when you bake it, so make sure to use baking cocoa. And then we've got baking soda and some sea salt. Mix this together. All right, so I've set aside the dry ingredients and now I'm going to mix together the wet. Our chocolate olive oil mixture is still cooling. So we've got 3 eggs. It's adding a lot of protein. Protein, healthy fats, B vitamins, and choline, which is one of my favorite nutrients in eggs. It's really good for brain health. Give it a good whisk, add in our vanilla extract, and our coconut sugar. So we are using an unrefined coconut sugar instead of cane sugar, and we're using 2/3 of a cup, which is less than the typical brownie recipe would have. All right, I'm gonna slowly pour this chocolate olive oil mixture into the eggs and whisking the whole time. This is what makes these brownies fudge-like. You wanna make sure you don't miss a drop of this chocolate olive oil mixture. Whisk it together. So now I'm gonna fold in our dry ingredients. I'm gonna mix really well until all of the dry ingredients have incorporated with the eggs and the melted chocolate and the olive oil and the sugar, of course. Okay, and last but not least, we have another cup of chocolate chips that have not been melted. This is gonna add that extra bite of chocolate in these chocolate fudge brownies. All right, so I've already preheated my oven to 350 degrees and I've got a 9x9 baking dish that I have slathered with some extra olive oil. And now I'm just gonna pour our brownies into the baking dish. Okay, so I'm gonna spread the brownie batter evenly so that it touches the edges. And then we're just gonna throw it in the oven for like 22 to 25 minutes until a toothpick comes out clean, and then they're ready to eat. These smell so good. They look absolutely perfect. So we're just gonna let these cool for a few minutes and then we're gonna cut into them. I literally could not wait for these to cool down, but I think now they're ready to eat. They cut so nicely. All right, let's try a little bit. These definitely feel like a more elevated and sophisticated brownie. This is something that I would serve at a dinner party or to friends that are coming to visit. They are so decadent and delicious.